Hi all. I have a story to tell, and I'm finally going to say it. Finally going to tell the story that I've been sitting on for quite some time. So let's get into it. So, my name is Michelle, and I believe that we are in such a beautiful time right now that you should be very blessed you're alive. We're living in a beautiful, beautiful world. What a time to be alive. Let me repeat that. What a time to be alive. It's beautiful out. We're in nature. And my story begins when I was quite young. So we're going to start there and jump right into it. I feel like I was led to tell this story because of how far I've come thus far and still have so much further to go, so much more understanding to understand. So when I was younger, I felt like I had the world at my fingertips. I felt like everything was just so beautiful. I felt like I understood the world in a way that was always going to be so young and carefree and loving and caring, and what you put out into the world is what you'll receive. I understood that. I felt subconsciously in young stage at that young age from very, very young. Like, I understood there was something, but I didn't know what it was. So I just went with it. I rolled with it. I think growing up, going through school, getting told what to do, having authority figures, having to respect different people, learning lessons, getting told no, getting told yes, different aspects of this world that you kind of grow into, starting young, going through every stage of life, learning each lesson. We're already pre-programmed to believing and living this life that the people before us have lived, and they continuously go on to live, that we're supposed to provide a future for the next generation, and so on and so on. So anyway, going back, I'll probably go off on some tangents here, but going back to my life, starting out at a young age when I was so full of life and energy, I was making so many friends. I had so many friends that I could talk to. I felt like life was just always so beautiful. Fast forward going into, let's see, middle school. I was still making really good friends. I couldn't really keep the ones that I had growing up because I transferred schools. It wasn't very much further, but just enough to where that communication line wasn't really open as much. Granted, this was definitely during a time where cell phones were still being made, like progressing. It was like your Nokias and those little where you had to multi-click the buttons, like ancient phones, what it seems to be nowadays. Like, time in the technology world goes by like light years, it's just like so fast. So transferred the schools and was still making pretty good friends. However, I wasn't really making the connections that I was learning different lessons. My mind was still being programmed on this different, on the same level as everybody else. However, I was still thinking quite differently. But thought, in my mind, I was thinking everybody else was thinking the way that I was thinking. However, I always felt that I was different. And when I would talk to people, I wasn't receiving those intellectual conversations like I thought I was supposed to be having, So I just kind of went with it. Not really understanding that I needed to have intellectual conversations, but I felt like there was always something missing from the conversations that I had, if that makes sense. So again, fast forward, let's go to high school. When I get into high school, I basically didn't have a lot of friends. I kind of got into this stage where I subconsciously was prejudging people. I wasn't really making the connections that I had when I was younger. I think everybody growing up was kind of already getting set in certain ways that whenever I would look at people or I would try to communicate with people, I wasn't receiving what I was hoping to. So when I was putting kind of like my thoughts out there into the world, people would look at me like, who is this girl and what is she talking about? Because we have no idea what she's saying. So I kind of had a hard time in high school making the connections, and ultimately, roughly, let's say around 10th grade, I only had like one really true friend, one person that I could really talk to. And if I wasn't in like outside of high school, I really just had like one or two friends that I could really just hang out with. But at the same time, I wasn't getting those conversations like I was hoping to. So I was trying to just like rolling through life, you know, making the best of it as what I could. But in the back of my mind, it was always just like, there's something else. Why am I feeling the way I'm feeling? So when I was so confused all this time, I think I was turning that into anxiety. I think I was turning that into slight depression, because I went into this state of nobody understands me, nobody is thinking the way I do. So let's go back to high school. Again, another tangent. Let's go back to high school. And while I was not making connections I was hoping to, I was picked on in a way. I was a little bit outcasted in a sense, and I still didn't know at the time why. Like, why is everybody treating me this way? And why was I not making those connections I was hoped to be making? So, I remember so distinctively certain days, just I would like, you know, walk up, or people would walk up to me, or whatever the case, we'd be in social interactions, it'd be like after school activities or what have you. I would always just, you know, go into conversations and look at people and kind of go, you know, I see who you really are, but you're not really portraying what or who you are, you know? I see there's, you know, why aren't you saying what you really feel? Because I can see and feel what you're feeling. I can almost basically sense what you're going to say before you say it, or if you haven't said it, why aren't you saying it? Because I can see that's what you really want to say. And that thought alone made me go, you know, why am I the only one that's seeing this? Am I the only one that's seeing this? Because for the longest time, I didn't think I was alone in that. I thought everybody could see the way that I was seeing. I thought everybody could feel and sense people's emotions and understand what they really meant before they say it, you know? And so, just experiencing those like emotions throughout high school and a little bit after high school, it didn't dawn on me that I was the only one that was feeling and seeing these things. Like, nobody else was, you know, really seeing how I was feeling these people's emotions. And I didn't realize until maybe like, I don't know, it was like 3 years after high school. I still had the one friend that I had during high school. And I went over to his house one day and we were talking. And I kind of brought up and I was like, you know, Sydney, I was a bitch in high school, wasn't I? And he was like, yeah. Yeah, you were. And I was like, I prejudged people and I didn't even realize it. And he was like, yeah, you did. And that really, I don't know, I just remember that day so specifically. It makes me want to cry. I remember it and I go, well, how come you never told me? He was like, because I thought you knew. I thought that's why you were doing it, because I thought that was who you were. And I was like, no. You know? So I didn't realize up until just recently that there was a thing that it was actually a name for it, and why I was feeling the way I was feeling, you know? Excuse me. So it's actually a beautiful, it was actually a beautiful thing, and I'm actually just happy tears because realizing it finally had taken so much weight off my shoulders. And give me just a second. Let me drink some tea. I get emotional because I hoard a lot of energy. I go day to day, and there's several people in this lifetime right now that are experiencing the very same things that I am. I go through this lifetime, and I pick up on a lot of people's energies. I feel, sense, and not only do I feel and sense it, I absorb those energies. So the people that I have always brought into my life, and I'm going to say this specifically, brought into my life because the universe has placed them in my life for a specific reason. We're constantly supposed to be learning lessons, you guys. I hope you know that. And if I'll go into actually another video explaining that, so I'm not going to go off on a tangent on that. So anyway, I absorb those energies, and while I'm absorbing those energies, I can put myself in other people's shoes really, really well. Except I don't know how yet to control it, and I don't know if there is a way to control it. So while going through day-to-day life, it made me really understand that while in high school I was experiencing all these things, and the people that I was coming in contact with were just lessons. They were lessons, and that's it. And I wanted so bad at the time to not only call people out, I wanted to really understand why they weren't saying the things they were feeling and why they weren't, you know, expressing their emotions. I would see conversations happening all the time, and it was like when I would see somebody say something that wasn't genuine, I would see this outer shell. I would see, to better explain it, let's see. Who I am here is this human body, this figure, this shape, this abstract, three-dimensional figure, you know? So I would see that, but then I could see who was actually inside, and it was all mostly through the eyes. I could always just like look at somebody, and I would see the shell, but then see straight through them. That's what I was meaning by when I thought everybody else could do that in high school and middle school, when I started to pick up on those different abilities, I guess you could call that. I thought everybody could see the way that I was seeing. I thought everybody could look me in my eyes, and hope to God that I wasn't trying to, like, you know, pull a fast one over them because they would be able to tell. But that didn't happen. And I didn't meet one single person that saw me for me and understood me. Nobody understood me. So that was a huge, huge struggle that I think I had to go through in high school. A little bit after high school, when I had that conversation with my best friend at the time, still my best friend, no matter what through life, thank God for him. I'm so blessed, thank you. But after all of that, and then kind of, you know, going through a really rough time in my life before I realized what was actually happening. I had a really rough time in my life, my family, my friends. I put them through quite a lot. And I think, again, everybody does have to go through those lessons to really better understand them and better understand the life they're living and the purpose they have here in this lifetime. I just had to learn it a little bit of the difficult way. But I did it so fast that there's no way that wasn't supposed to happen. For other people that are going through a rough time right now, understand that it is for a meaning, it is for a purpose, and it is rough, and I continuously go through certain things like that all the time, and you're not alone. There's several people out there like that. I have been getting all these synchronicities from people I run into, from YouTubers, from Facebook posts, from Instagram feeds, and so on and so what. And not only just social media, it's on the outside world too as well, because I hate technology, by the way. I super hate technology. But with feeling so many emotions and then getting those synchronicities, it all has led to me, believing there's so much more to learn from this point on. And I have already come. Hello, jet airplane. Thank you. So, I'll let that pass over for a minute. By the way, it's a beautiful day out. It's a little cloudy. It's probably about to rain, but hopefully I don't get rained out with my technology. Okay. So, anyway, going back to what our purpose is in this life, and I have experienced so much than one person. I felt, I probably could still feel, but I did feel at some point that I was going through much more than one person could really handle, and that much more than a lot of people have handled, even people who are older than me at this day and age. I felt like I've surpassed, a lot of lessons that a lot of people haven't yet come to. So I decided that making this video would make a lot of sense for people who are now experiencing, or for people who are going through this lifetime and not really understanding that things are actually changing for them more than they know it. So I want to quickly say that some experiences that I handled in my lifetime at the time I thought was severe anxiety and minor depression. Excuse me. I went through a really, really hard time, and I think people labeled these things growing into this century like these are not normal behaviors, these are not normal feelings, these aren't normal attributes that people put out into the world. However, everybody is different. Everybody has certain feelings, certain emotions, certain, pet peeves. I'm just speaking in a general sense. Everybody has their own lives, and we've come to a day and age where technology makes it so easy to get caught up on what is normal. And I think that has a lot to do with why I have to take breaks from technology a lot of times, because not only does it mentally drain me, it actually puts me in a horrible funk, because not only am I seeing, the way people should look or act, but it's like everybody's kind of just grabbing on to what they should, who they should be and what they should be doing, when it's not a genuine drive. They're being pulled by false hope. So whenever they, put this expectation for themselves and they don't reach that expectation, then they fall into a hole. They get depressed. They go all through these emotions, and we shouldn't be having that right now, you know? And I am somebody who genuinely wants to care for people. I genuinely want people to be happy. I genuinely want people to feel loved. Genuinely want to share my care. So I've got to honestly thank a couple of YouTubers. Oh my gosh. I will post them in the description below, because they have helped me through a lot of, you know, a little uncertainty, a little, hello again. They've helped me through a lot of uncertainty and giving me better understanding of what everybody is going through, because now we are in a time where the universe has its highest vibrations, and it's building on top of those vibrations every day. They're getting higher and higher, and you know, there's reason for that, because there are so many people right now that are raising their energies as well. And I definitely believe there is a connection. There's a connection between our energies and the universe we live on, because everything is energy. Everything has energy. We project it. We feel it. You are you. I am me. But I am you, and you are me as well. I am you, and you are me, my friend. Believe it or not, we share the same energy. And that is something I don't think a lot of people want to understand right now. However, there are more people now than there have ever been that are like becoming awake. They're being awakened. And there is such a thing as an awakening. If you don't know what that is, I might post another video explaining what the awakening is. However, this video is getting quite long. So, again, let's cut it short, and I'm gonna get off on that tangent. So, to basically sum everything up, I had been receiving these synchronicities to post this video because I felt like I have a story very similar to a lot of people's. And I didn't really explain a whole lot in detail of what my story actually was. I just kind of told you like the sum, and everybody has just a sum, but of course everybody has that deeper level. My purpose in life, I feel, and my passion is to understand others and to help others understand themselves. That they're not alone. You're not alone. We are together in this world, and it's a beautiful place to be, and you should, you know, just keep going. You're going through a hard time. Every day is a new day, though. Every day is a new day, though, and you have a purpose here. You have a purpose in this life. I didn't think at one point that I did. I didn't. And honestly, I changed things within myself. I changed things within myself when I realized I was on that breaking point. It came to me almost instantly that I needed to meditate. I needed to resort to other options instead of drugs, medication, over-the-counter medication specifically is what I'm saying. Other people have been through that roller coaster as well, and some didn't make it out. I thank God every day that I am still here, because I said, no, I'm not going to be drugged up. I'm not going to be your guinea pig. I'm not going to be tested out on what anxiety medicines go with these depression pills to figure you out, you know? It just made it worse. So I said enough is enough. It was really rough putting those substances down. It was really rough after the fact figuring out that I was just a test subject and medical help wasn't going to help me. Drug specifically, there's herbal medicine, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Crystals, healing energies, all of that is such a beautiful thing. And I would love to explain how that has actually saved my life in another video. So if you would like to see that video, please comment in the section below. And I, again, was going off more on tangents, and a lot of this probably didn't make a lot of sense, but for the people who watched the video this far, this was for you, and I look forward to really speaking with you. I look forward to helping you heal. I look forward to healing together. Every day is a new opportunity. Every day is a new chance to take on this life in a new light. And whether it's rainy, gloomy, sunny, you're cold, it's hot, every day is a new day, and you have another opportunity to be you. You have another opportunity to do what makes you happy, you know? Don't let those fears, worries, anxieties get to you, because I promise they will win if you let them win, and that's not a good thing. They will win. They will take over your life. They will take over your life. So, sorry I'm so emotional. This is just a story we had to say. You know? Very first video, and that's the reason why I'm posting it, because I know there's somebody out there that needed to hear this. You are loved, you are cared for. You are loved and you are cared for. If you need help, we're here. And there's a whole community of us. So, releasing all the energies that I have accumulated through this week. Thank the Lord. It is a beautiful day. And every day is a beautiful day. You're a beautiful spiritual being. Peace, light, and love. Until next time.